Shahrastani supporters and Dancing Brave supporters. In fact, the racing world probably hasn't been so divided since the days of Milreef and Brigadier Gerard. And the crowds here today reflect that fascination and indeed that partisanship. Very few of these tens of thousands who flocked here to Ascot today in the sunshine are neutral. So the stage is set for the great rematch, the rematch between the two principals in what was without doubt one of the most controversial derbies for many a year. The commentator is Peter Bromley.
Shahrastani moving up on the outside. Jarir trying to get a run on the rails. They're 2.5 furlongs out, and it's Nomrud in the lead from faraway dancer Shahrastani. Wise Counsellor, Dancing Brave beginning a run from the back of the field. 2 furlongs out, and it's Niznaz and faraway dancer. Here comes Shahrastani. Shahrastani takes the lead in the Shergar colours. They've got a furlong to run. Shahrastani being chased all the time by Dancing Brave. Coming very late on the stand side, Dancing Brave. Shahrastani, Dancing Brave on the far side, faraway dancer. Shahrastani from Dancing Brave. Shahrastani, and here comes Dancing Brave. Shahrastani wins by a neck. Dancing Brave is second.
Shahrastani by half a length, in fact, and of course arguments have raged about that race ever since. But if anyone thought that Shahrastani was lucky to win a derby, well, they had to think again after his spectacular performance in the Budweiser Irish Derby.
As they race towards the home turn, and it's Pat Edery on Bonami being chased by Walter Swinburne on Shahrastani. Then comes Mr. John. Then on the outside, Mashkur has moved into 4th. They've got 2.5 furlongs to run in the Budweiser Derby, and it's Bonami being pressed by Shahrastani. Then on the outside comes Bekaroff with Mashkur upsides. They're racing towards the furlong pole. Shahrastani has taken it up now from Bonami. Then comes Bekaroff on the outside with Mashkur. It's Shahrastani who's stormed into the lead. He's going to win this in tremendous style. They're well inside the final furlong. Shahrastani from Bonami and Mashkur, and then comes Bekaroff. And as they race into the closing stages, there's only one horse in it. Shahrastani has won it by a good 10 lengths from Bonami.
And that was the performance of a real champion. And earlier this afternoon, I asked his trainer, Michael Stoute, if he felt that he was still in that sort of form.
Well, I've always said he's a deceptive horse. He doesn't do too much at home. He looks very well. He seems to be in great shape. I hope he is, because he's going to need to be.
What are your feelings about the going, which is just about perfect, perhaps a little dead?
But that suits us. I think my horse, he stays well, and he's always run with a little cut in the ground. And I was hoping there wouldn't be any real sort of summer jar in it. So I'm glad that we had some rain during the week.
Dick Hearn's got 2 pacemakers in the race. Is this going to help you, do you think?
Well, as I say, I mean, we think we're a true stayer, so we're pleased to see that this is probably going to be a fast-run race.
Have you got any worries about the race?
Yes, of course I do. I have the greatest respect for Dancing Brave, and I saw nothing at Epsom to convince me that he didn't stay a mile and a half.
A fairly cautious Michael Stoute there. And of course, the Dancing Brave camp simply won't accept that Shahrastani is the better horse. Earlier this week, we travelled down to Dancing Brave's stables in Pulborough in Sussex to see how the challenger was shaping up. A new day dawns for Dancing Brave, and after his 5 a.m. feed, the first man that he meets is his loving stable lad, Brian Graham. From 150 horses in the stable, Brian was lucky enough to come up with the perfect one. A horse with an extra gear and an ideal racing temperament.
Lovely ride. The kids could ride him out if the governor allowed them. His general attitude. He literally hasn't got a care. Nothing bothers him. He can work. If we go to the races, he doesn't sweat, he doesn't do nothing. He's so relaxed in his work.
But it's only since last May that Dancing Brave's been regarded as likely to stay a mile and a half.
Well, he's always been the best on the gallops. Easily the best on the gallops, always shown more form and everything. But the governor there had no intentions of really running him in the derby till after the way he won the Guineas. And he won that with such ease that they had to take his chance.
Harwood's superb all-weather strips have eliminated the problem of galloping on firm going in the past 6 weeks. The Brave, on the near side, has continued to work well and to enjoy his work. I asked assistant trainer Jeff Lawson when the stable first realised he was something special.
Well, we didn't really know he was in the yard till about August time. Only Mr. Abdullah, I think he was paying the bills. But when we first ran him at Sandown, Grev came in straight away and said, this could be my Guineas horse. That was the first time. He definitely doesn't like it soft. I think his hallmark is that he's got a good turn of foot, as he showed in the Guineas and in the, well, in all races.
Like all of Harwood's horses, Dancing Brave is weighed each week. I asked Lawson what was his best racing weight.
1070 pounds. We've got 8 pounds to work on between now and the race in 4 days, so which should be bang on.
The man who's in charge of Dancing Brave's diet is the outstanding and experienced headman, Tom Townsend.
Well, of course, the main meal is the corn, finish oats we use, and in the bucket it consists of glucose, molasses, and bran, and he has an egg every night, and some blood salts. It keeps their blood thin. I like to get 16 pound of corn down in a day, but the main meal is at night time, where they have 4 bowls of corn, which consists of about 10 pounds at night.
He's really in good form, nice and settled. You see for yourself that when we brought him back in, he wasn't turning a hair, and he's taking it in his stride. And I'm sure he'll take revenge on Shahrastani.
Certainly, he's a horse who takes very good care of his manger. On the tactical side, how do you feel about the 2, possibly 3 pacemakers in the race?
Well, we'll have to ride the race according to the way it's run. I mean, if they go a tremendous gallop and cut each other's throat, then they're going to come back to us. And we'll ride accordingly. And if they go a sensible pace, then we will ride a sensible race.
Do you feel that Pat Edder is the ideal jockey for this horse?
We'll find out in a few minutes.
And Guy, how hopeful, or should I say confident, are you?
Well, I'm very confident, Julian. The horse is in tremendous form, and I think he could have been a little unlucky in the Derby, and he'll run a great race today.
Guy Harwood there, so the talking's done, the stage is set, but of course it isn't a 2-horse race by any means. In all, there are 9 runners and riders for a first prize of over £152,000, and named by a race commentator, Peter O'Sullivan.
And number 1 is Bolden, ridden by Paul Cook. 2, Diastan, Tony Kimberley. 3, Petoskey, Willie Carson. 4, Shadari, Steve Cawthon. 5, Supreme Leader, Tony Murray. 6, Vouchsafe, Brian Proctor. 7, Triptych, Yves Saint-Martin. 8, Dancing Brave, Pat Eddery. And 9, Shahrastani, Walter Swinburne. And here's how they're betting at the moment.
And the favourite Shahrastani 11-10. Dancing Brave 6-4. Shadari 10-1. Petoskey is 12-1 from 14s. Triptych 20-1. Diastan 100-1. Supreme Leader 200-1. And the 2 pacemakers, Vouchsafe and Bolden, opened at 500-1, quickly went to 750-1 and are now 1,000-1.
7 4-year-olds and 2 3-year-olds do battle here today, and the 3-year-olds are out to prove that they're superior to their older rivals. The first one we're having a look at, in fact, is a 3-year-old. He's 6-4 in the market at the moment. Number 8, Dancing Brave. As a 2-year-old last season, Dancing Brave won his races at Newmarket and Sandown. This season in the Craven Stakes showed that he had matured into a brilliant 3-year-old, only beating Faraway Dancer and Mashcore, and I think was one of the best performances he'd put in up till then. His next race was the 2,000 Guineas, where after a slow early pace he showed a terrific acceleration to beat Green Desert by 3 lengths, with some of the best milers in the country all stretched out behind him. In the Derby, he was made 2-1 favourite, but he just failed by half a length to pull back Shahrastani, and luck that day appeared to be against him. He came back to winning ways in the Eclipse Stakes at Sandown 3 weeks ago with a sparkling performance beating Triptych by 4 lengths. Well, I had a look at him on Monday when we made that little bit of a film. I went down to see him, and in the Eclipse, when I was watching him in the paddock, I thought, I wonder if his temperament is beginning to get above him. But believe you me, he's the quietest horse I think I've ever seen. As his great lad that does him, Brian Graham, pointed out, he's the quietest horse he thinks he's ever looked after. Well, just look at him now. He's a height of consistency, and also he's got a really great nature. He's by Leafard, and Leafard has thrown some of the best racing blood we've seen at the moment. There he is, Dancing Brave, number 8. There's number 3, this is Petoskey. He's proved himself probably the best mile-and-a-half horse in England last year, but this season things doesn't seem to have gone right for him. He found Epsom not to his liking, went 3rd behind St Estephe and Triptych. That was in the Coronation Cup. And at Newmarket in the Princess of Wales Stakes, went 3rd behind Shadari. Well, he had to go to the front a long way out on that occasion, had it all to do, and I'd excuse him for that. If he comes back to his best form, could follow in the footsteps of last year and give it all to do. 14 to 1 from 12s at the moment, but nevertheless, looking a picture in the pack. Well, there is the favourite. This is number 9, Shahrastani. Has only been beaten once in his career in 5 starts. That was his only run as a 2-year-old, failing by a head to catch My Tun-Tun at Newbury last September. He's 11 to 10 favourite. His first race this season was the Guardian Classic Trial at Sandown when he ran out a 4-length winner. He followed that up with a 1.5-length win over Nomrud in the Meccadanti Stakes at York. He stayed on well to beat Dancing Brave in the Epsom Derby by half a length. And then he looked an improved horse when winning the Irish equivalent at the Curragh by 8 lengths from Bonamy and Baccaroff. Well, Baccaroff, like Dancing Brave, is trained by Guy Harwood at Pulborough, so I think Guy has a rough idea just how much Dancing Brave is better than Baccaroff. Will he close that gate that Shahrastani had over Baccaroff in the Irish Derby? He's looking as well as I've ever seen him, and there are the connections of Shahrastani. On the right of the picture, Michael Stoute, his trainer, then His Highness Prince Aga Khan, and in the colours, the chocolate colours, very unusual in fact. These are the colours of Shadari with Steve Cawthon, and in fact a lot of the Aga Khan's horses used to run in these colours of a few years back, notably Tully. And then on the left of the picture is the other runner, and on the right the main colours with young Walter Swinburne in the colours of Shahrastani. There's number 1. This is one of the pacemakers for Major Dick Hearn's 3 runners. This is Boldine. He's usually runs around a mile, so I think he's 1,000 to 1 in the market. But nevertheless, he's a decent individual, and he's a pretty fast horse over a mile. His best racing distance, so I think Boldine with Paul Cook in the saddle, I think he'll be the first one to cut the early workout for the more stars. A good individual, as I say, a big strong horse, and perhaps the first one to break from the stalls. Shadari, number 4, one of the 3 Aga Khan runners, and also one of the 3 trained by Michael Stoute, came back to his best on his last start in the Princess of Wales Stakes at Newmarket when running out a 3-length winner over Baby Turk and Petoskey. Probably didn't act prior to that when a disappointing 4th in the Coronation Cup at Epsom. But he's a 10 to 1 shot, and he's no stranger to Ascot. As last September he won the Cumberland Stakes over the day's distance, beating Assemblyman by no less than 6 lengths. He loves a galloping track and a strong pace throughout. Well, he's going to get that today, and should give Steve Cawthon a great ride here. Steve came so close to winning this race last year on Oh So Sharp. Number 7, Triptych, the only filly in the race, a 4-year-old bay filly by Riverman. This filly is one of the best in Europe in my book at her age, with a devastating turn of foot, as she showed us in the Eclipse at Sandown, accelerating to the front with 2 furlongs to run, but just failing to hold the blistering speed that Dancing Brave showed all through the last furlong. 20 to 1 in the market, and probably that could prove to be pretty generous odds for a place. She's won 4 group races in her career, including the 2,000 guineas in Ireland last year. Yves Saint Martin just jumps on top of her, and 25 to 1 from 20 to 1, so she goes for a walk in the market by 5 points. Yves, France's premier jockey, and there you can see the crowd going away to see the 9 runners who will shortly be parading in front of the stands. And I don't think I've ever seen a bigger crowd, including Ascot Gold Cup Day here at the Royal Meeting. There wasn't 1 inch of space on the stands around the paddock. Now quite a lot of the crowd have dispersed. But the 9 thoroughbreds have more than showed themselves off well, all looking a picture in their coats, and all a credit to their trainers. Major Dick Hearn, who runs at 3 in the race, the main one being Potosky with his 2 pacemakers, Baldine and Vouchsafe, and with Michael Stoute also sporting 3 runners for His Highness the Aga Khan. Well, I think the market should be pretty solid, but let's go and see if there's very much of a change.
Yes, Shahrastani seems to be stuck on 11 to 10. It's the favourite, of course. Dancing Brave is still on 6 to 4. Shadari has gone out all the time. It's now 10 to 1. Petosky is 14 to 1 again. Tiptish 25 to 1. Diastan is 100 to 1. Supreme Leader 200 to 1. And on 1,000 to 1, Vouchsafe and Bolden.
Well, the main 4 very much in the market and holding pretty steady, as I was saying. Triptych running in the colours of Alan Claw. I think probably she's the best 4-year-old filly in Europe at the moment. As I was saying, she also had enough courage and stamina to win over a mile at the Curragh as a 3-year-old. That was in the Irish 2000 Guineas. She ran right up to her best when just failing by a short head to hold St. Ethie in the Coronation Cup at Epsom. She'd won everywhere bar on the line that day. I think 1.5 miles going to suit her. There is Shahrastani, and in fact he's the one that is just getting on his toes a tiny bit. I thought it might be Dancing Brave would be one of the first, but Dancing Brave is taking it like he's been here 1,000 times before, with Shahrastani just that little bit edgy. 6 to 5 from 11 to 10. Young Walter Swinburne just ties his usual knot in the length of his reins, and I wonder what's going through his brain now. And there is Dancing Brave. Dancing Brave has taken it all in his stride. Not a wet hair in him, and in fact after he'd done his piece of work last Monday high up on the Pulborough Downs in Sussex, I don't think there was another wet hair in him either. He'd done quite good work, a nice sort of swinging brisk canter, and he looked just as magnificent as he does here now. 6 to 4. The owners now have left. The trainers, most of the trainers have left. Their work done. They've been honing and tuning the 9 thoroughbreds to their very, very best right the way through the season. When you think Dancing Brave was put together to win the 2000 Guineas and went on to run that terrific race in the Derby, and then the Eclipse to show that blistering speed, and how Guy Harwood's and his staff, Brian Graham, his head lad, or his lad I should say, Jeff Lawson, his assistant trainer, and Tommy Townsend, the feeder, how they've got this horse so settled now is a credit to the establishment. There, leading, is Paul Cook on Bolden by Bold Lad Ireland, and one of the 2 pacemakers for Potosky. I think we'll see Bolden, the first one to break the line and take them along for the first 4 or 5 or 6 furlongs. Dahistan, number 2, Tony Kimberley, is a stable companion of both Shahrastani and Shadari by Turnavos, and a good horse in his own right. I think he'll be one of the front runners as well, but may let Bolden cut out the early work and then make sure he's somewhere handy all of the way to keep them well up to their work. Back to Potosky, the main Major Dick Hearn challenger, running in the first colours of the Dowager Lady Beaverbrook by Naniski, out of Shashuli by Patinga. A really strong, burly individual who won this race last year. Number 4, Shadari, the mount of Steve Cawthon by Topville, out of Shamada by Zidane, and a horse that any jock, I think, would love to be on today, because I wouldn't put him out of it. If he's back to his best, he showed that he was coming back to his best in the Princess of Wales Stakes, and if he comes back to the form he showed when beating Slip Anchor at Kempton, could put him right in the picture. Number 5, Supreme Leader, Bay Colt by Bustino, out of Princess Zina by Habitat. Well, a good horse in his own right, and won 2 group races early on at Newmarket, the Earl of Sefton notably, and then at Sandown he got the better of Aroko in a drive-in finish, but seems to have been out of his depth in his last 3 starts. Vouchsafe, one of the other Dick Hearn pacemakers, by Bastino at a gracious consent by Prince Regent, and should be staying on well all through the last half mile. Number 8, Dancing Brave. I think they've taken the filly out of the parade and most likely put her last because they don't like a filly to be walking in front of the colts. But just look how well Dancing Brave is looking now. Only 1 defeat, as you can see there, in his 6 starts, and that came in the Derby at Epsom. The colours of Prince Khalid Abdullah, colours that are seen to the fore now in most of the major races. Well, the 9 thoroughbreds well on their way down to the furlong marker, and just look at the crowd spilling out now over the Royal Lawn and also into Tats, and I don't think on a Saturday that we've ever seen a crowd quite like this. But when you think that the 2 best 3-year-olds in England and maybe in Europe, we'll find that out by the time we come to the Arc de Triomphe in October, but at the moment the 2 best 3-year-olds in England and Ireland, the British Isles that is, well, and there is the dual Derby winner who won both the English and Irish Derby. The course here riding absolutely perfect, the ground dried out, the times are riding considerably faster than yesterday, and I think that we have absolutely perfect ground for this classic. An 11-10 favourite from 6-5, that is the favourite that we're looking at now, Shahrastani. And there is the filly, and they put her last in the parade, as I thought they might do. Trained in France by Patrick Biancon, 28-1, from 25-1, and she's taken a little walk in the market the whole time. Well, if I had to pick against a Dancing Brave, Shahrastani, I think I'd put her high on my list, because I don't think I've ever seen her look better. She represents one of the best trainers in France and one of the best jockeys riding in the world today, Yves Saint-Martin. She's by Riverman, out of Trillion, who is by Hell to Reason. They turn and canter back up to the 1.5-mile start, which is right over in the far corner, as you can see, the far corner, right-hand corner of our screen. There is Potosky this side, as I was saying, a real burly individual. Well, last season in this race, he ran the race of his life to beat Oh So Sharp and Rainbow Quest in this very race.
They've got 2.5 furlongs to run, and it's infantry from Oh So Sharp. Rainbow Quest coming there on the stand side. Law Society is chasing these. It's infantry on the far side, Rainbow Quest on the near side. Oh So Sharp in between horses takes it up now, and it's Oh So Sharp and Rainbow Quest. These 2 Potosky's coming to deliver a challenge. Oh So Sharp over on the far side from Rainbow Quest, and Potosky coming there strongly. They've got 100 yards to run. Potosky on the near side has got to take it up. Potosky now with the advantage from Oh So Sharp on the far side. At the line, it's a photo finish between Potosky and Oh So Sharp.
Potosky, Oh So Sharp and Rainbow Quest, and when you think Oh So Sharp went on to win the Leger, Rainbow Quest went on to win the Arc de Triomphe, well, what a race that was. Willie Carson, I wonder what's going through his brain now, because he's got the tactics, I think, right in his lap today. I think with the pacemakers in the race, with Shahrastani looking to sap every ounce of Dancing Brave's stamina, I think Potosky will find the race run right to his liking. There he is. I think I've ever seen the Major get him looking better, and if he runs back up to that form of last year, you can't put him out of the race. There's Pat Edery on Dancing Brave. To the left, Walter Swinburne. Well, there is Walter. He's got it all to do today. He made no mistake in the Derby. He was in the box seat all the way. He asked the horse the question going into the dip to get momentum, and then Shahrastani had enough stamina and enough courage to keep running. In the Derby, the Irish Derby, he had things much more his own way, and I don't think Walter had anything to worry about from a good 4 out. And of course has won the race before on the Great Show. Some people are comparing Shahrastani with Shergar. Well, today we'll see if he is every bit as good as that great horse. There is Dancing Brave, Pat Edery teaming up with Dancing Brave for the first time in public. He's been down to Pulborough to ride him in his pre-race work, and he thought a lot of him. He said he was one of the most lovely balanced horses he'd ridden, a horse with a terrific touch of class. But to commit himself to say whether he beat Shahrastani or turn the tables on him, that's much too much for a professional to say that. I think he'll be trying to keep him in his sights, but as well as Shahrastani, he's got quite a lot of the other runners. In Petoskey, he's got to keep an eye on, and also Shadari, and of course the favourite. Let's go and see. We had a warm favourite at the last show. Let's go and see if he's tightening or drifting.
And Shahrastani's price has tightened slightly, 11 to 10 from 6 to 5. Dancing Brave 6 to 4 still. Shadari 12 to 1. Petoskey is 14 to 1. Triptych 28 to 1. Diastan 100 to 1, and on 200 to 1 Supreme Leader, and the 1,000 to 1 chances are Vouchsafe and Bolden.
The third favourite, Shadari, the mount of Steve Cawthon, and I wouldn't put him without a chance either, because he's a very good individual. He showed that he was on his way back to his best in the Princess of Wales Stakes, and he was a 3-length winner there and a going-away 3-length winner, and he had some useful horses behind him, both Baby Turk and Petoskey. I think Petoskey might make a bit on him today, because on that occasion the race was run at not too fast a gallop early, but they did finish fast on that occasion. He goes in nice and quietly. Well, most of the runners going in, we've seen them all. Let's join Peter.
And just 3 to go now. 3 among these 9 horses that have won 35 races between them. Vouchsafe is to go, Shahrastani is to go, and Shahrastani just getting a little bit edgy. He was a little bit edgy earlier in the paddock, and now he's having to get a little push to go into his stall. Looking around him, very interested in everything that goes on. And that's it, he's in. There's now Vouchsafe to go, and Bolden. Vouchsafe in, now Bolden, and when he's installed, all 9 will be in for the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. They're under starters' orders, and they're running. And in the early stages, Bolden goes straight into the lead from Vouchsafe. It's Bolden going on from Vouchsafe, then comes Diastan, then Shadari on the rails, then comes Shahrastani, Supreme Leader. Behind them, Petoskey, Dancing Brave is next, and 9th and last is the filly Triptych, as Bolden sets a blazing gallop from his stable companion Vouchsafe. There's quite a long gap then to Diastan, with Diastan on the outside of Diastan, Shadari. Then comes Shahrastani very close to them. Behind them, Supreme Leader. Behind Supreme Leader's Petoskey. Then Dancing Brave, not letting Shahrastani out of his sights. And Triptych finding this much too fast at the moment as they've passed the mile already. And Bolden and Vouchsafe a good 10 lengths clear of Diastan. Then comes Shadari on the inside of Shahrastani. Then Supreme Leader. Then Petoskey. Then Dancing Brave. And finally Triptych. The leaders have passed the 7, are racing towards the 6, and it's still Bolden and Vouchsafe. Then back in 10 lengths behind them comes Diastan. Behind Diastan is Shadari, then Shahrastani on the outside, Supreme Leader and Petoskey, and going very well in behind Petoskey is Dancing Brave, and Triptych is the back marker, and it's still Bolden as they race past the 5 furlong marker from Vouchsafe. Then comes Diastan, then Shahrastani has moved into 4th just ahead of Shadari, and then Supreme Leader, and making ground all the time on the inside, Pat Edery on Dancing Brave. One from last is Petoskey, last is Triptych, but they're beginning to bunch now as Diastan takes it up from Shahrastani. It's Diastan from Shahrastani, then comes Shadari, the Aga Khan trio, then making ground on the inside is Dancing Brave with Petoskey as they swing for home now. It's Diastan being pressed by Shahrastani. Coming down to the 2 furlong pole, Diastan from Shahrastani, and here comes Dancing Brave, unleashing a run towards the stand side. Shahrastani is under pressure. Shadari has moved into the lead over on the far side, and Dancing Brave is coming there with a double handful. And it's Pat Edery on Dancing Brave from Shadari. Triptych is moving into third as they race to the line. Dancing Brave avenges his Epsom defeat. Dancing Brave being challenged again by Shadari, but holding him well. Dancing Brave the winner, Shadari second, Triptych third, Shahrastani 4, Diastan next, then Petoskey, and then Supreme Leader, and finally the 2 pacemakers literally tailed off after the great gallop, they said, Vouchsafe and Bolden, and so the result of the 1986 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes. First, number 8, Dancing Brave, owned by Mr. Khalid Abdallah, trained by Guy Harwood and ridden by Pat Edery. Second was number 4, Shadari, owned by His Highness the Aga Khan, trained by Michael Stoute, ridden by Steve Cawthon. And third was number 7, Triptych, owned by Mr. Alan Claw, trained by Patrick Louis Biancone and ridden by Yves Saint-Martin. Fourth was number 9, Shahrastani. So Dancing Brave avenges that Epsom defeat in fantastic style. Guy Harwood wins his second King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and Pat Edery wins his second as well. This is Dancing Brave. Here's how he won a brilliant 1986 King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Diamond Stakes.
Well, one thing's certain, he certainly stays. Pat didn't have the best of runs, 5 furlongs out, and coming into the straight, his position was unpromising behind the 3 Aga Khan horses, and with Bolden on his outside. But Bolden fell away. Pat was able to pull out here, and now he'd got the 3 Aga Khan horses covered. Shahrastani already under pressure and didn't find the response that Walter Swinburne was hoping for. And now Shadari and Steve Cawthon have hit the front, and for a moment looked like winning. For a moment, that is, until you look over to Dancing Brave and see his brilliant acceleration as he goes from 2 lengths down to 1.5 lengths up inside the final furlong. He has perhaps got tired in the final furlong, but hardly surprising after such a fast run race. And Shadari, from being 2 lengths down, is going to come back at him now. But make no mistake, this was a brilliant performance in a really, really fast run race, and Dancing Brave has showed himself to be a true champion, although on the day Shahrastani didn't run his best race. We saw him edgy beforehand and also a little bit sweating, but take nothing away from Dancing Brave, who was a brilliant winner on the day by about 1 length from Shadari. Triptych about 5 lengths away third. Well, the head-on view tells the picture here, line abreast up front, the 3 Aga Khan runners. But whereas we hoped that Shahrastani would be cruising at this point, Walter Swinburne's gone for his whip, and you can see Pat Edery on the outside just moving his arms, coasting up to join those leaders before he asks for the supreme effort. Shadari moves over to the fence. He's run a marvellous race, the 4-year-old, but Shahrastani just lacked that sparkle that he showed at the Curragh today after a season in which he's answered every question up until now. Dancing Brave hits the front, he quickens again like the brilliant horse that he is, and he goes away for a famous victory.
So what a fantastic moment for the Guy Harwood stable. And Guy, having won this in 1982, Dancing Brave, led in by his lad Brian Graham, and the most tremendous triumph this for Pulborough. And one must spare a moment of sympathy for Greville Starkey. To be injured at this time and to miss this great ride is tragedy indeed. Pat Edery remaining on the crest of the wave, talking there to Guy Harwood, Pat having ridden his 107th winner in England and his second winner in this great race, having won it another memorable race, of course, in 1975 on Grundy. This his 10th ride in the race. Dancing Brave, now winner of 6 of his 7 races. And the scores now between the juniors and the seniors, 18 4-year-olds and up have won, and now 18 3-year-olds have won. And the Aga Khan there congratulating the winning connections. Here's Shardari, having finished nearest of his duo. Prince Khalid Abdallah there by his great horse, who weighed in at 1,075 pounds, as opposed to 1,050 of Shahrastani, who surely hasn't run up to his peak today. He got very edgy, but what would have beaten Dancing Brave under these circumstances? The distance is 3/4 of a length and 4 lengths. Guy Harwood patting the horse there that he said after the eclipse was surely the best horse he's ever trained, and nothing has occurred this afternoon to alter that judgment. Dancing Brave, the hero of the afternoon. The starting price is as follows.
First, number 8, Dancing Brave, 6-4. Second, number 4, Shardari, 14-1. And third, number 7, Triptych, 25-1.